Welcome to Keepin' It Real, your go-to radio show for fresh insights and vibrant introductions. Get ready to dive into a world where we offer you the latest in real estate wisdom and the juiciest community tidbits. From expert advice courtesy of top realtors to opportunities to give back through local charities, we've got you covered. Plus, we'll shine a spotlight on the young athletes driving our local sports scene and uncover the buzzworthy happenings both in town and beyond. Stay tuned for a jam-packed hour of enlightenment and entertainment right here on Keepin' It Real.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
All right, good morning and welcome to the Keepin' It Real radio show. I'm Dion Ethell, your host, and I am here with a bunch of wonderful guests here. I've got 3 guests in the studio this morning. So we're going to talk about the Huachuca Art Association and what they do, but we've got some artists here in the room and we're going to talk to each of them. So first I've got Callie Ryan. You're an artist, but you're also a social media person. Is that right?
That is correct.
So you actually handle some of that. I've got Kathy Riebock. You are a jewelry designer.
Yes.
But you're also the jury committee chairperson. That's probably not what most people think about, but we will talk about that sometime. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And then I've got Laurie Giangregorio. You also paint under a different name, which is Laura Rose, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I got one of them right. So we're going to talk a little bit, ladies, about a bunch of stuff, but let's kind of begin our conversation about you. So one of the things we do, kind of a tradition with the Keepin' It Real radio show, is we talk about the people behind the scenes, right? So behind every great organization is a bunch of wonderful people, and everybody has a story. Laurie, let's talk about your situation, and tell me a little bit about yourself.
I've been in Sierra Vista since 1985, and I live in Hereford.
Okay.
And I've been painting most of my life. I'm a professional artist, and I show in Tubac and Patagonia and Bisbee, and I teach at Buena High School, which is the most wonderful school in Cochise County.
That's
I
awesome.
teach one period AP studio art, and Buena has so much to offer. I do large acrylic paintings, and I studied at Boston University and in Paris. And so,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So this has been really a lifelong journey for you.
It is. And I do love teaching my students, and they win scholarships, usually at the Huachuca Art Association.
Sure.
And one of my students went to D.C. after winning the Congressional Award last year. Actually, my students win the Congressional Award most years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you must be good at it then,
I
and
love
good at
art.
teaching. And how long have you been teaching?
I taught in the late 90s and retired about 2012. And this is my 5th year of teaching one class of AP studio art.
Okay. So you picked it back up again and just doing...
to be the AP teacher. I think next year my other teacher, Mahela Lewis, will pick up the AP.
And what grade are you teaching?
12th grade.
12th grade. So the seniors are getting the time with you.
They are.
Okay. Cool. And do you find that most of these people are, these young students are looking for a career in that field, or is it just a hobby, or...
I find a lot of my students go on in art in some fashion to do something creative. I have a tattoo artist, I have digital artists, I have people who have gone into advertising. There's different careers in art that I find my students go into. A lot of them go on into other kind of careers, medicine or finance. But yeah, I do have some who go on into art.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Well, let's go to you, Kathy. Kathy, tell me about yourself. How long have you been here?
We moved here in 2003. from Aurora, Illinois, and the newspaper brought us here. My husband was the HR director for WIC Communications. So I was a stay-at-home mom. We didn't know anyone in the area. I wanted to make sure I knew who my children were interacting with, so we made our home available. And for about 2 years, that worked really well. And then I had a girlfriend that said, we need to design jewelry. And I have never done anything with beads whatsoever. I used to have a custom drapery business in Aurora. And I thought, well, okay, let's do it. And so she said, we need to go to the gem show. And oh my, if you've ever been to the Tucson Gem Show, it is completely overwhelming. And but I started out small, just did bracelets, earrings, did little craft shows. People kept saying, oh, you have a really nice eye. This works so nice with my clothes. Okay. And it just kept growing. And then my neighbor said, you need to belong to the Art Association. And she brought over the paperwork, put it in front of me. She said, you need to do art in the park. And I, again, completely overwhelmed and said, no, I don't think so. And she would not leave until I signed it. And so I was able to get a spot in the member booth. And I think at the time we were allowed to do it for 2 years. And so I did. And then a friend said, well, you can borrow our tent if you want to do a bigger space. And my husband said, okay, we are never doing that again unless we have our own tent, because he spent most of the weekend going to Home Depot because it was raining. He was trying to keep everything dry. So he went and found a tent, and we've not looked back. At this point, I now have 2 spaces at Art in the Park, and it is one of my bigger shows. So it's expanded exponentially.
We love Art in the Park. I mean, that's one of our go-to things. You know, as realtors, you know, you get people coming from different places, moving into the area, and they're from all over the world, really. And we always like to give, well, one, we like to shop local, but we like to show off some of the artisan work that's done here, and we buy quite a bit of stuff. I buy enough for the whole year at Art in the Park.
Christmas gifts, birthday
everything.
gifts, absolutely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep.
And so we give everybody, you know, who buys a house from us actually gets a little housewarming basket full of cool stuff that you guys make. Various artists from the area, and we try to mix it up a little bit so everybody gets a flavor of Sierra Vista. So kind of cool. Well, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. And last but not least, Callie, tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm from Maryland. We moved here 3 years ago. And back in Maryland, I used to teach sip and paints at a campground. And I kind of got into that because friends of mine and we used to go and attend sip and paints. And then we decided, let's just do it ourselves. And so I went on YouTube and I taught myself how to do it. And then we did our little meeting and did it. And then they said, okay, well, you're going to do it from now on. So I got to be comfortable teaching people to do paintings. And then we moved out here, and I had some paintings hanging in the house, and friends came over and they said, oh, that's so whimsical. That's so fun. You need to do something with it. So a friend of mine from the shelter actually took me over to the Huachuca Art Association and introduced me to the association. I put my name on the jury list, and they said, it'll be a few months. Don't worry about it. And I got a call way earlier than I thought I would. And so I'm coming up on 2 years in the gallery. Okay.
Before we get too far down the road, I want to talk a little bit about the gallery itself. What's that all about for people who don't know much about it, and where are you located?
Okay, we're located on San Paseo Luis, across the street from the Warrior Healing Center, and it's all local people. It's a nonprofit. It's a complete volunteer organization. One of the requirements for membership, aside from being juried in with your artwork, is you put in docent hours every month. So that's how the gallery is.
What'd you call that?
Docent.
Docent hours.
Which means the people who are working in the gallery.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, when somebody comes in, the docents can tell them all about the gallery and the fact that it is local people. And we do a complete change out every 2 months. So every 2 months, you're going to come in and find
all new people talking about it.
Yeah, and all new artwork on the walls, all new artwork on the what we call tabletop.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Okay. So and then every month we have a featured artist reception, which is where these two lovely ladies come in. And we also have classes. We have ongoing classes for youth on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and that is taught by Nathan. And we have Joanne Berry, who does a weekly oil class. And then on Saturdays, the different artists volunteer their time to teach different classes.
How many artists are there in the organization?
There's probably between 55 and 65 in the gallery.
In the gallery.
In the gallery at
there's-
at any given time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so, but as far as the whole association, there's more?
200, 300 people.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. A lot more than I thought. I didn't realize that you changed out so frequently. I've been in there many times, but I didn't realize that everything changed in there that quickly. So that's kind of interesting. And just so people know, if they've never been there before, there's no charge to get in. You can get in, browse around. You have all these nice little cabinets and whatnot to browse and take a look at all your wares and everything, all the different artists and what they have that they're selling.
Yes. And everything in there is for sale.
Everything.
Yeah. And people will come in and they kind of treat it like a museum.
Yeah.
And they're like, is this stuff for sale? So yes, everything that you see in there, every bit of the artwork and the tabletop artwork and the jewelry, it's all for sale.
That's good to know. Now, one of the things we touched on, you mentioned juried in, and I know we talked about, Kathy, you're on the jury committee, you're the chairperson. Mm-hmm. What does that really mean? Because it's not jury like we all think about jury duty, but what is it?
Well, about every 2.5 months, I have a committee and we get together and we jury in the artwork that people feel they would like to sell in our gallery. One of the requirements is you have to belong to the association itself. Membership next year will be $40 for the year.
That's very affordable.
Very much so. And then, as Callie mentioned, you have to dose it, and that is 6 hours a month. So we are opening Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 5. People put their name down on a list. I get my committee together. I schedule the artist every 20 minutes. We ask them to tell us a little bit about themselves. How did they get started with their art? Are they self-taught? Why our gallery? Why Sierra Vista? What brought them here? And just to get to know them a little bit. And then we quickly go through a rubric of different categories and, what did we like about the items that they brought? What did we not like? And then we do numbers. And it's a number system. It's not a, ooh, I didn't like her. We don't do things like that. We look at the art and we tell them right then and there. We do not send out an email. We don't make them wait. And then we give them constructive feedback. And that is done. It takes about 2 hours. We only do 6 artists at a time because we've discovered over the years that if you're looking at too much, your brain just does not process well.
Yeah.
So we try to limit it to 6 people. That's 2 hours of time and give them feedback right then and there.
Do people get pretty nervous coming in doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very much so.
I would think so.
Mm-hmm. And I have talking points that I go through. It's a 20-minute conversation before they even walk in the door because I want them to understand, yes, you have to dose it. Yes, you have to be dressed appropriately for it's business casual. Yes, you need to understand that there's going to be 12 people asking you questions. I've had some people get very angry and upset afterwards because they were like, why did we have all those people talking to me? And they're all experts in their own field. I have photographers, I have jewelers, I have oil painters, watercolorists. I mean, to watercolor is totally different than doing acrylic painting. So
right.
I can barely draw a stick person. I'm a jewelry designer, so really, I need these other people in this committee to make these decisions. So I know what I like and I know what I think would sell, but, and we'll even ask people, well, what price would you put on this? And some have very high numbers and we go, okay. And others have very low numbers and we think, okay. But we never really dictate what the artist, what the price should be.
That was going to be my next question.
No,
you
it's
don't
up to them.
decide that. They
Mm-hmm.
actually
No,
decide that.
They do. And if they don't sell, then they understand, okay, either the price is too high or someone just doesn't like my work.
But you give them some constructive discussion about that.
And there's guidelines as far as framing and things like that. There's very specific, because it's a professional gallery and it looks beautiful. And when Callie said we change out every month, it makes a big difference. Yes. Yeah.
And so I work on hanging the gallery every other month, and I work with Diane Given Hayes because she owned her own gallery 14 years in the Virgin Islands.
Got some experience.
And I have a lot of experience hanging a gallery. And when you say the gallery looks beautiful, people who know how to hang a gallery do that. And that's very important.
Well, I'm very interested in that. Let's talk about that, but let's take a quick break. Folks, we'll be right back with the folks from the Huachuca Art Association. This is Keepin' It Real. We'll be right back.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Sherry's amazing team brings honesty, expertise, and a deep understanding of the local market. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned homeowner, they're committed to your peace of mind and handle every detail for you. Their approach? Personalized service, above and beyond transactional real estate, building lifelong relationships, nationwide connections, local expertise. There's a reason this team is amongst the top realtors in Arizona and across the nation. You owe it to yourself to call or visit the Sherry Ethell Team, the top team at Long Realty, behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more info. Real integrity, real results.
All right, welcome back. I'm Dion Ethell, and this is Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team right here at Long Realty behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. And I'm joined with the Huachuca Art Association, some members here, some artists, and really you're all artists. And what's interesting is we were talking about before the break, some of the things that we discussed was the fact that everybody, all the artists, actually do some time talking with people who come into the door. You don't get to just throw your stuff in the gallery without having to do that.
You're trained.
You're trained.
You're absolutely trained. There's 6 hours of training that happens, and you shadow. You're always with another docent. So there's always 2 people in the gallery at any given time. And then if you are new to our gallery, then you are shadowing and you're the 3rd person. And you're made to do everything so that you have that training, and when you actually do something you learn it better versus just watching. So yes.
Now, one of the things we were talking about was hanging. So tell me a little bit more about that. What does that entail?
Well, there's a lot of different kind of artwork in the gallery, and there's a lot of different size variation in the artwork. And so to get the disparate works to work together is tricky sometimes. We have a special person who just does the shelf work, but for the wall work, we have the new people who come in, which we give a special space to, and then we try to work a flow so the gallery looks professional.
Okay. And what kinds of things are you thinking about when you're doing that? Is it just size, or is it colors, or is it the type of medium that they're using, or everything?
Well, we try to put each artist with their own artwork instead of separating them out all over the gallery. And so then we look at what will look good when you walk into the gallery and what will work with the work next to it. And if we have photographs and we have paintings, we vary so that it's not just a whole wall of photos. It might be paintings and then photos and then some 3D work.
Since we're talking about the different kinds of mediums that you see, and you've talked about, I think you mentioned, Kathy, about, you have photographers, you have all kinds of things. You have a number of different kinds of artists, you being a jewelry artist, but there's other things. What other kinds of mediums are people working with? Is there pottery?
There's mixed media, there's pyrography, there's ceramics, there's
gourds,
glass art, and gourd art.
Gourd artists. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have anybody who does any sculpting or anything like that?
We do. We just juried in a new guy who does metal sculpting. His name is Jim McNulty.
Okay.
And he does some really cool metal sculpting.
Okay.
And we have Will Smith, who does small sculptures. So we do have some sculpture work in there.
What other kinds of things might you see in there?
You might see lamps.
Lamps.
Yeah.
Really?
Ceramic.
Okay.
And gourds. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because
I haven't been in it a little bit, so I'll have to take a look at that
again. Each of those artists have submitted lamps. Mm-hmm. And we have wood artists. Mm-hmm. George.
Yeah, George is my father-in-law.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah. Well,
we love his spoons.
Yeah,
yes, we do. And then on the wall, we have acrylic painting. We have oil paintings. We have realistic, we have abstract, and we have something in between the two. Some people like to do animal art. Right. Some people like to do totally abstract art, three-dimensional art.
Anime.
Oh, really? You got some anime as well.
Landscapes.
So just a little bit of everything, it seems like. So a little bit for everybody, right?
That's because it's a community art association.
Okay, gotcha.
And truly, the hanging committee puts in many hours on a Sunday and does a fabulous job. And I think the table art, she comes in the day after.
Correct.
And then rearranges and moves things around so that it's all aesthetically pleasing. Because you don't want to walk into a jumble. And I've learned that even with my jewelry business. I try to color coordinate when I display things because it's too much to look at. And the same way with the gallery. You want it to have an impact without it being just a jumble of stuff. And the hanging committee does a fabulous job.
Yeah, we would be lost without Laurie and Diane.
And we also do greeting cards. A lot of people come in and they love an artwork, and it's very expensive, so they might buy a print or a card, more affordable.
Doing the social media stuff, I have been highlighting prints for the last week or so because that is a wonderful way to support the arts and not, break the bank. And it makes great gifts. And yes, you should never go to CVS for your cards. You should come to the gallery and get cards.
Well, they're much more personal. When you're giving a gift, it's personal. And so the card, it's nice to have something that's a little more personalized and a little more, I don't know, unique. Just community, unique.
Exactly.
It
That's
just
what we're here for.
Kind of comes together. I've been in there a bunch of times, but I'll be honest, ladies, I didn't really, know that you put this much effort into all the details because you take this very seriously. I can see on your faces. This is serious business to you guys.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So, and everybody seems to be very friendly and happy to talk about everything. So the seriousness never, I guess, comes across. I never noticed that before. So it's good, though, that you do take it seriously and that it means so much to you.
We have a beautiful space. We're very proud of our gallery.
Yeah.
And we do classes. We have a large area where people can take classes.
The studio.
Yeah, we have open studio where if you're not a hanging member or non-hanging member, part of the 50 or part of the 200, you can come in on Thursdays and Fridays, and it's open studio, and you can bring your work with you and work on it in the studio. It's a great way to meet the other artists, get to know people, get tips. I've certainly gotten some tips from people.
It's a social time, too.
Okay.
I mean, people bring their lunch, and we have a kitchen in there, and people bring their lunch, and they socialize. So
I've heard that before.
It's instrumental as far as instruction, but it's the social, I need to get out of the house, outside of my own little studio, outside of wherever you work, and talk to somebody else. And that makes a big difference.
Now, if you were somebody who wanted to take a class, let's just say painting or something like that, you can find that at the Huachuca Art Association, a class on that. And then Is it for advanced people, or is some of it for beginners or somebody who just wants to kind of pick up where they left off?
You can find our classes. We have a newsletter that goes out every month. When you come into the gallery, there's a little book that you can sign, and if you sign that, you'll get our newsletter sent electronically. Okay. We have hard copy newsletters in the gallery. We have a website. We have Facebook. I'll make an event for all the classes and so forth.
Okay.
And some classes may be geared more towards people who are already familiar with the medium. And some classes, like when I teach a class, I teach a very beginner-friendly class to get people who are maybe not necessarily think that they're artists to come into the gallery and discover their inner artist.
Right. Well, and we have a pretty large retirement community here. In fact, I was just talking recently with a couple of people, and we were talking about after retirement. When you actually hang it up and you're not going to work anymore, you got to have hobbies, and a lot of people rediscover some things that they did before, and this would be a great place to do that.
Absolutely.
So we have some really interesting classes like wrapping rocks.
Wrapping rocks?
Yes,
what is that?
Where you find a beautiful rock and you wrap it with leather or metal and stones or sticks. And when I taught a class, I had people who were very advanced and people who had not painted at all before. we all gear towards all levels. We have what is that, alcohol-linked classes, and so for somebody who's retired and wants to do an art project, this is a perfect place to come to our gallery and sign up for a class or request a kind of class, and we can put that together.
Well, if you signed up for a class, do you have to be a member of the association, or how does that work out?
When you come in, we generally have a little area in the front of the gallery that has upcoming classes and events.
Right.
Whether it's a demo day or classes or whatever. So you can see that, and if it strikes your fancy, hey, I want to do that, then you can just sign up. You do not have to be a member. You do not have to have any experience. You just have to have the desire, the curiosity to try it. A couple times a year, we have what we call demo day or demonstration day, where 3 or 4 artists from the gallery will come in and they'll be demonstrating what they do. They'll be demonstrating like pastels or framing or oils or any number of things. And from that, people can, usually we have a sheet to, if you're interested, sign up on this sheet, and then that might turn into a class, which it often has. The demonstrations, they all go on at the same time, and they're for, I think, 3 hours. And some of it you get to do hands-on. You get to, be invited to sit down and learn how to, turn a rock into jewelry or turn clay into an ornament, that type of thing. That's not a class, and that is free for anybody to come in, and they can either watch what's going on or they can participate. Classes spring up out of that because people are like, hey, that's really cool. I'd really like to go a little further with that.
The other thing that I will be teaching next year will be a marketing class.
A marketing class.
Well, I've been in business license 08, so I'm coming up on 20 years. I have taught marketing classes for what I have done in my business, and Callie had said, can you teach a jewelry making class? And I said, no, I cannot, but I can do a marketing class. And she said, oh, great. And I said, next year. So, yes, I'll be on the calendar for 2027 to do a marketing class.
A marketing class,
Well, just how do you promote yourself? How do you get started in business?
Yeah, that's a useful tool. Yeah.
Very. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a little overwhelming.
And it's something that people maybe don't think about going into it, that would be very useful.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you don't have to be a member of the association at all to teach a class. If you have an interest that you would like to share with other people, but you have not joined the association, you have not been juried in, that's fine. You can still teach a class at the gallery.
Kind of useful, too. Although $40, that's very inexpensive for a membership to an organization. And that's annually. Mm-hmm. That's super affordable. And I imagine that really helps you, having members, being that you're a nonprofit, 501c3. That's, we live off of those donations and those memberships, right?
That's correct.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the Art Association and the nonprofit portion of it here, but let's do that when we take a break. We'll come right back, folks. This is Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team right here at Long Realty Studios. We'll be right back.
Do uneasy markets have you waiting for the ideal moment to make home ownership a reality? Your answer lies in a conversation with Sherry Ethell and her exceptional team at Long Realty, a name synonymous with trust and reliability in Arizona's real estate landscape.
Hi, I'm Sherry Ethell, Realtor and Team CEO of the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. Your ideal moment has arrived. We tailor our approach to you and your needs and goals. Let us put our extensive network to work for you and take the stress out of the process.
Whether buying or selling, remember the name Sherry Ethell and the Sherry Ethell Team. Visit the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more information. Real integrity. Real results.
All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real. I'm Dion Ethell, and I am your host. I'm here with Callie, Kathy, Laurie from the Huachuca Art Association. We're talking about not just the art, but really the opportunities that exist there for classes, for purchasing, gifts and things like that. Even we talked about cards and things like that. There's all kinds of neat things there. And if you've never been there, you absolutely should come down. It's on Paseo San Luis, right across from the Warrior Healing Center. It's a great little shop there and a great venue. And they put so much effort into it. It's wonderful. You'll really love it. So come on down and take a look at that. So I know we've got lots to talk about, but we were talking about just the different kinds of mediums that, you have so many different kinds of people, different artists. Do you limit certain areas? Obviously you can't have all photographers or you can't have all painters. How do you do that? Or do you?
We do. We look at how much wall space we have. We look at how much table space we have. And we limit how many gourd artists we can have because typically their work is large. Typically, it's large. We look at how many jewelers, because if you've ever been to a craft show and it's just jeweler after jeweler after jeweler, and if you're not interested in jewelry, then it's boring. So we try to keep so many photographers, so many oil, watercolor, acrylic, mixed media. Pastel is kind of a one big crowd. We don't really limit how many we have of them. But when it comes to wood burning and glass and textiles and jewelry, ceramics, gourds.
Have you ever turned somebody away?
What we generally do is if they have been approved by the jury, they might get waitlisted until somebody decides to not do that category again, or maybe moves or something like that. Because we have had people that are like, okay, I'm in here for X number of types of art, and I'm going to let this one go. Right. So that opens up a space for somebody else to come in.
Yeah, because I'm sure, everybody would love to be able to just invite everybody, but like anything, you've got a certain number of people and space is allowable there, and so you kind of work with that, right? Well,
and then when you have the wall artist, when you have the hanging committee,
right,
you need to make sure that they have enough to work with, but not too much, and it's up to them to say, we have space for 2 of your paintings because they're 20 by 24, right. Or you can have 1 because it's 46 by, whatever. So, yes, but that's up to the hanging committee to handle that.
So everybody's got their place.
A lot of galleries will give you X amount of room, like 3 feet and up to the ceiling. But we don't hang like that. We all work as a team. We know how many paintings we can put in and what space we're going to take up.
Well, I think you do a good job because even in the cabinet space, right? I've been over there. Nobody's getting lost in the display. Sometimes you see people who maybe have a booth at a show or whatever, and they've just got lots of stuff, and it's just a little overwhelming. Exactly. Or things get hidden and the little guys you can't see them as well. But you guys do a really great job with that.
The name of the piece, the artist, the price, the inventory number.
Yeah.
The medium.
I've even bought some of the bowls and ceramics and stuff, and there's a couple of them that I really like. They just go well in a basket that I'm going to do for a housewife. It's like some things, like anything, some things just don't fit in a basket very easily, and then some things do fit, but maybe they're just either too fragile or too awkward to be able to fit in there. So I got to kind of be choosy about what I look for. So when you find something that's great, you're like, oh, that's fantastic and affordable, And that's the neat thing, too, is I like the fact. So let me ask you this. You've got some things that are very inexpensive.
We go all the way down to $1.
All the way down to $1?
$1. We have bookmarks.
I'm gonna have to find that dollar. But they are very affordable. There's a lot of stuff in there that's very affordable, and then it goes up. What's the most expensive thing that you have in the?
We have a $4,000 one in there right now.
A $4,000.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Is that a painting probably or something?
It is an artwork that. Yeah, you'd have to really want it to buy that.
Yeah.
And we also offer layaway for certain artists.
Yes.
So I did not know that.
Yes, that's true. I actually have a piece in layaway that I've been paying off every month.
I did not know that. Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to get out there in front of people.
These are all one-of-a-kind pieces. These are all unique, and if you see and you want that $4,000 piece, and it's gorgeous, and it's going to fit in your home, by golly. Put it on layaway.
Put it on layaway. Wow. So that's probably like a whole nother thing. Who organizes that? Who kind of keeps track of all that? That's a lot of work.
Well, when you come into the gallery, you sign up whether or not you are willing to have your artwork put on layaway.
Right.
And then we have a book up front that when somebody wants to put something on layaway, there's a form that you fill out.
Okay.
And then that's left up front. So when somebody comes in to make a payment on it, you just get the book out and find their page and mark the fact that they've put
so it's
a payment in.
relatively easy.
Yeah.
And the bigger picture is also we have a gallery director, and she is Amanda Bethard, and she coordinates everything.
Okay.
And we have a co-director, Marcia Earhart, and they coordinate with each other, and they organize the docent schedule. They are.
That's a lot of work.
Oh, there's many.
Now, is that a paid position or is that a volunteer position?
Currently, it is a volunteer position.
Wow, that's a lot of work for a volunteer. Good for them.
Just jumping back for a second to talk about classes. Anyone who takes a class at the gallery, at the end of the year, we have a student art show. And they don't have to be a member of the gallery. If they took a class, they can bring their piece in that they made in the class. And that takes the place of our featured artist for that month.
Oh.
So it's kind of cool if you're not a member of the gallery to be able to say, I got my work in a gallery.
Right.
Come on over here and look at it.
Does anybody ever get surprised their artwork sells?
Everybody gets very excited. It doesn't matter if you sell a piece every day. It's still exciting.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And we call the artist and let them know their work is sold. Now, we have a scholarship that's the Huachuca Art Association scholarship for high school students every year. And this year it was Liz Horning's scholarship. And my student who won it went on to art school, and she got accepted in an art school. I was so very proud of her. She was not expecting to go on in art. When she came to me first as a student, she had no idea she would go on in art.
Oh, how rewarding.
Yeah.
Liz Horning was a member of the gallery who sadly passed away last year.
Okay.
And she was a very prolific artist. She was a wonderful artist. And her family was kind enough, and I don't know whether she had put it in her will or not, but her pieces were donated to the gallery.
Oh.
And so we sold her pieces to fund the scholarship fund. So it was the Liz Horning Memorial Scholarship Fund.
That's kind of neat. So a little legacy there.
Yeah. Our association has been around since 1969. Is that about right? We started with a loosely woven group of like-minded artists and in 69 and incorporated into a nonprofit in 71. Dale Boatman was part of it, and Mona Puzzi. I'm not sure of all the other artists, but we were on Astro Lane, and we had a gallery and a studio there, and moved to the mall when the mall was built. Liz Horning facilitated us being able to buy our own building, a beautiful space.
Which is amazing to be able to have your own brick and mortar. I mean, that's kind of unusual for an organization to even be able to do that. So that's kind of a monumental accomplishment right there.
Having a large parking lot is pretty good.
That's probably true, especially if you're teaching classes and other things there. To have so many different kinds of activities, it's got to be very important to your organization and everything to be able to have that. We talked about scholarships. That's one of the other things that you guys do is scholarships, right?
Every year, and my students apply for those scholarships and often get them. My student this year won a large scholarship because of Liz Horning's donations, and she wanted to go to art school, and being the first in her family to go on to college.
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
And she got into an art school in Colorado, and the scholarship meant a lot to her.
Yeah, I bet. That's really neat to be able to have that kind of legacy and to be able to carry that on. What do the scholarships run usually? And we hadn't talked about that yet. $500 or $1,000?
$1,000 usually. This year was $4,000.
Wow. Okay. That's significant. Yeah.
That was thanks to Liz Horning's estate. Then the family, they donated a lot of paintings that then people came in and they purchased, and all that money went to our scholarship.
one of the things we want to talk about, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk in more in detail with each of you. But you guys are going to be the featured artists coming up here in September. Is that correct?
Correct.
So tell me about how that works, these featured artists. How does that work?
Every month, with the exception of February, November, and December, we have 2 featured artists. We have a wall artist and a table artist.
Okay.
And table artists could be jewelers, gourd artists, ceramics, textiles. Wall artists can be acrylics, mixed media, but it's stuff that is hung on the wall. So the first Saturday of every month from 3 to 5, we have a reception, but our work is displayed starting at the beginning of the month, and it runs through the end of the month.
Okay.
So the reception is a party, so to speak, just to come and meet the artist.
Meet the artists and do all that.
Talk to them and have some great food. And this particular month, we'll have some door prizes. So you come and you stay and maybe win a door prize, too.
Well, before we take the break, I want to throw out this event is actually occurring at 1835 Paseo San Luis, correct?
Correct. On September 5th from 3 to 5.
I want to throw that out there so you can put it on your calendars. Make sure September 5th, 3 to 5 p.m. is on your calendar for this event. Now, one of the things is that you can actually preview this stuff even sooner, though.
Correct. When the gallery opens on Tuesday, September 1st, their work will all be ready and on display and ready to be purchased. And then beyond the 5th, it will be for the remainder of the month.
Yeah. So you can actually buy up all these different items from the featured artists for that whole period of time. So 5 days, you've got kind of a lead on everything. What happens if everything sells?
Bring in more.
Yeah, you bring in more? Okay, That's awesome. So you put this out a few days before the event. Why do you do that? Why do you usually showcase those ahead of time?
To get interests and to let people know who our featured artists are.
I see, yeah.
And every day I post pictures of their work on Facebook, as well as little tidbits of interest about them. So you get to know them as people.
That's
and
cool.
Not just, the artists.
Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back after these messages, and we will talk more to our featured artists, Kathy and Laurie. We'll talk to each of them about their work. So stay tuned with Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team right here at Long Realty. We'll be right back.
We're the real wayfinders, the trailblazers, the go-getters. In a town where the desert wakes before dawn, we don't just talk, we make things happen. And when we speak, it's real, it's genuine, and it's worth hearing. Tune in every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on Canyon Country 97.7 FM. Join the Sherry Ethell Team for Keepin' It Real, where top realtors, local heroes, and a heartbeat of our community come together. Raw, authentic conversations, expert market insights, and the best local events you can't afford to miss. Keepin' It Real, celebrating our community. Bold, genuine, one of a kind.
All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real. I'm Dion Ethell, and I am your host. We're talking to the Huachuca Art Association. Callie, Kathy, and Laurie, they're all artists, but they all do different functions within the organization. If you just tuning in, Callie, she does the social media. Kathy not only does art, but she also is the jury committee chairperson. If you caught a little bit of earlier, you would have heard about how they bring people into the organization, and that's part of the jury process. And then we have Laurie here, who is also an artist here in the organization, but she also handles the hanging out there, right?
I do.
And so that's a big thing.
Yeah, it's important to hang the gallery, and this time we'll have a complete changeover. So if you come to the gallery on a regular basis, we'll have all new work.
That's one of the things I kind of like to talk about is obviously your individual skill sets and what you guys do as artists. But as the featured artists here, one of the things we mentioned before the break was that you don't host any during a few of the months of the year, like 3 months out of the year. Why that is? What do you host during those months?
Okay, in February, that's our fine art show, which is open to everyone. You do not have to be a member of the gallery or the association. You can enter the fine art show, and that runs the entire month of February. So the entire gallery is featured artists, so to speak.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then in November, we do the student show, where anyone who has taken any classes during the from January on, can bring their pieces in that they made and display them in the featured artist area. And Nathan's youth class, last year they took up an entire wall by themselves.
Yeah, I've seen that before, yeah.
Yeah, because they're such great kids. And then in December, we turn it into a holiday event. And we have a Christmas tree up, and we have ornaments, and we have cards, and we have all kinds of decorations and holiday-themed artwork and little miniatures. People bring those in because those make
Is that
good
just
little
like
gifts.
a period that you do this for, or is there a special event for the holiday stuff?
The special event is our holiday show.
Okay.
And so we still have a reception. It's just not a two-person featured artist.
Yeah, it's a bunch.
And
Okay.
same thing with the student show. That's honoring all of the students and every single one of them.
Oh, wow. Do you get a chance to meet those kids?
Yes, if their parents bring them to the reception, which they usually do, because it's so cool to be able to see your work on the
sell your art.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So again, that you guys are the featured artists now. So I want to drill down on that. And so, Laurie, we'll start with you. Now, one of the interesting things is, although your name's Laurie, you go by the name Laura Rose in terms of your painting. That's like your
I do.
painting
I
persona.
paint under Laura Rose because I have a very long name, and it's easier to make my signature Laura. I like that. It's easier to do. My work is very large. I do as small as 24 by 30, but I usually do 40 by 30.
And these are
I've done
paintings?
larger.
What kind of paint?
I do acrylic paintings. I do contemporary art. I often have an animal theme that is Southwest animals or birds or landscapes. I love to do totally abstract art, but it's not something I show here very much.
And how long does a painting take you to do?
Well, it could be as short as a day, depending on the painting. I do process-oriented art. I begin with maybe an idea, and I put some paint on a canvas, and as I progress through the canvas, I work with what I see and how the painting looks.
Do you get to the point where you're like, this isn't going anywhere, and you just shelf it and put it away?
I totally do, and I've had some paintings I've worked on for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
How is that possible? That's a long time.
Well,
wow.
Especially if it's an oil painting, you can build up layers. If
Sure.
you get and mixed media, you can build up a lot of layers. I've used pieces of the desert like agave skeletons for texture. I
Oh,
do a
really?
lot of texture in my work. I've used sand. I've used prickly pear skeletons to put down on the canvas for
Okay.
texture and build up
very
from
interesting.
there. Yeah.
That sounds like very interesting work. And it's interesting, that you could spend that many years, going back to it. That's, I guess, a sense of discipline, to be able to go back to that. Most people, I don't know, would probably get frustrated, I think, and
Well,
walk away. But
if you look at the work and you see it has potential, but you see what's wrong with it, you've gone back and looked and you see that it might be something that can move forward.
And some of those actually do get finished eventually, right?
They do. I just finished one that I had put away for a really long time.
Okay, that's kind of
Yeah,
exciting.
I just did that recently.
Do
Yes.
you get more of a thrill out of those versus the others, or just is it all the same?
I get a thrill out of a painting that works. If
Yeah.
it happens and it works, that's
Yeah.
the best thing.
Yeah.
And I never know what I'm going to put in it. I might put gold leaf in it. I might throw paint at it.
So you just kind of explore
I do.
whatever based on your feeling at the time. And
But I try to do a cohesive body of work, so I don't move my style to, say, a fine brush and doing really detailed work, and that's not what I'm painting. I am perfectly capable of doing that, but it's not what I choose to do.
yeah. So let's turn a little bit over to you, Kathy. Tell me a little bit about your work. Your work is jewelry.
Correct.
And is this, in terms of jewelry, are we talking like necklaces or bracelets or earrings? All of them.
All of it.
So all of them.
So, yes, I prefer to do large dramatic pieces. Those beads talk to me more than the small seed beads. I do not do seed beads. There are different artists out there that
Tiny.
do them, and they are amazing artists, but that is not me. So all my work is strung. I don't solder, I don't drill, but it's rewarding. And I, like Laurie, have some projects that did not come to fruition, and they got put in a bag and put aside, and periodically I would trot them out, or I will find another piece or another bead and go, oh, that will work with that. And so sometimes it's a process, as she said, it's a process. So, and then there's other times when something goes together in 20 minutes and you went, oh, maybe I need to make a necklace to go with that. So it just depends on how many beads I have. I don't buy typically more than 2 strands of beads because all my work is one of a kind. And if you have just too much of the same thing, it just gets very boring. So I have a very hard time. I was commissioned to make a mother-daughter bracelet set. Had a very difficult time doing that just because I don't have a lot of the same beads, and to make something match was difficult. So
I see.
Now I might repeat styles. For instance, the tubular style that I'm wearing now came into being about 5 or 6 years ago and was very popular because you can wear it long, or you could open it up in the back and twist it. Oh, I'm sorry. Twist it a couple of times, and then you've got the dramatic look without the weight, and that's also nice to have. So you have some versatility with it. I do this in copper, silver, gold, gunmetal gray, a lot of different
And you got a lot
shapes.
of colors there. I can see vibrant colors all over the place, and a lot of little ornate beads and things like that. So,
well, as I said, the beads talk to me, and I really enjoy working with furnace glass. I enjoy working with crystals, a lot of Swarovski crystals, lamp work, which in the 1500s, they literally had to light a lamp to heat the glass to make another color on top of a bead.
wow.
And that's Murano, Italy. That's where it's where it started, and it's like hand sewing, lamp work. It's that same thought process.
and do you find like different things kind of, I guess, attract your attention at different times?
Yes. Right now I'm on fire with turquoise.
Turquoise.
And haven't done turquoise in 3 or 4 years, and
wow.
I have it completely spread out all over.
So is that something we're going to see some of?
You're going to see a lot of turquoise, and some very bold, dramatic pieces, and some very small pieces, which for
Is this
me are
local
small.
turquoise, or is this
This
other
is Kingman and Bisbee blue. A lot of people think that Bisbee blue is the bright blue. That's really Kingman. Bisbee blue is a little more green. So I try to label that. And then I have some strands of turquoise that I'm not exactly sure where it came from, but it's beautiful. And I love it. So I have some
fantastic.
imperial turquoise and some mosaic turquoise, which is turquoise that has been smashed together and formed.
Yeah.
And so but yep, you're going to see a lot of turquoise. So I have memory wire bracelets, bold, dramatic pieces.
Do you always have a table artist and a wall artist?
Yes.
Is that just to mix things up a little bit, something different rather than 2 wall artists or 2 table artists? Is that?
Well, the gallery is not just all wall art, and there's a lot of table art. There is of all kinds of different media, and we don't want to just feature our wall people or just feature the tabletop. So that's why there's always the 2. Now, it may come to the point where it's one person that does both. But
we do have a couple of of artists that do both.
Yeah,
both. Okay.
Yeah.
And but we want to honor all kinds of art in our gallery.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just another opportunity to be able to meet artists, to be able to see the wares that you guys have and see the stuff that gets sold. Besides just, your everyday venue, what are your hours there at the Huachuca Art Association so people can kind of know when to come in?
We are open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 5.
And you do Art in the Park as well.
I do.
So Art in the Park is another, obviously, big staple in our community. It's been hosted for years and years and years. And we'll have Lois Bravo come in and talk about that in the coming weeks. But I just want to tip our hat to that's coming up here. When is that? That's always
First weekend in October. So
Okay.
Saturday from 9 to 5, Sunday from 9 to 4, and we set up on Fridays. So, but we're open to the public Saturday and Sunday.
I noticed, we talked about it earlier in the show. We talked about that you have artists in there, and then you change it all out at some point. That's every other month that you change out. But then you have these artists who are showcased kind of, and so what happens there as far as, because I think you take some pictures or something of them and put them on social media.
Yeah, every time we have a change out, be it the entire gallery or just the featured artist, I go in and photograph everything in the gallery, and then I use that to highlight the artists so that they all get, some sort of a plug.
Okay.
And we've had people that have come into the gallery and said, I saw that on Facebook. I'm interested in buying that. So
I kind of want to friend you on Facebook to be able to follow that and follow you there, and so that way you can see all the art. I didn't know you posted it there.
Yes, absolutely. Follow the Facebook page, because then you'll find out information on all the upcoming events, the classes, anything that's going on.
So you guys do so much for the community, and you got scholarships, you got classes, you've got art shows, you got showcased artists every month. You've got all kinds of things going on all the time. You are a nonprofit, so can you make a donation if somebody wanted to come and make a donation? Obviously, you can buy stuff there, which helps you, but can you make a donation?
Yes, you absolutely can. You can come in person and make it. We've actually had people mail us donations. I believe you can make it on our website as well.
Okay. So you can make a donation. So I encourage you to go down there, take a look at this wonderful place. Again, it's at 1835 Paseo San Luis, right across from the Warrior Healing Center. Very convenient location. Like Laurie said, there's a nice parking lot there for you. So plenty of space to be able to go in there and take some time to look through, because there's so much there to look at, for one. But now that we've kind of got to know you, we know that there's much more work. You guys really take this serious. You don't see that, on your face when you walk in, because everybody's friendly, everybody's kind, and, you're very inviting there. And the studio is very inviting. You just don't see the fact that you guys are pretty serious about this, and you guys really have it dialed in. I would hope so. I guess you've been doing it a long time.
We have, but we enjoy it. And it's a nice social group also. A lot of us are friends. And it's nice to dose it with somebody. You can dose it all day long. You can dose it 2 hours, 2 hour stretch. But it's fun to then sit and visit and talk with them if you're not slammed with sales. So it's also a social time.
Well, I love the fact that you kind of become experts at the organization as well as just your own art you work in.
We
so
have a
awesome.
Fabulous board that keeps the lights
moving.
On and the doors open. And
right. It sounds like everybody does so much work. Everybody kind of chips in and does their part.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it's fun, because art should be fun.
If you want to come see these ladies and their artwork as featured artists in September, you can see their work beginning on September 1st and all month. But really, to get the full effect, come meet them at the Huachuca Art Association, September 5th from 3 to 5 p.m., 1835 Paseo San Luis. That's a wrap for this week's Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team right here at Long Realty Studios behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. We're here for all your real estate needs. Come on in and come see us. We'll be right back after these brief messages with Sherry, and we'll wrap up our show. This is Dion Ethell, and we're signing off from Keepin' It Real.
In a town with heart and history, the Sherry Ethell Team is the key. Serving service that we agree. For military law and retirees. Stress-free process you will see. Personal care is our guarantee. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team, we never halt. Real experts here to guide your way, making dreams come true every single day. Trust a team that knows just what to do. The Sherry Ethell Team, working for you. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team is your one and only call.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on this week's Keepin' It Real radio show. As always, we're so grateful to have you spend part of your Saturday morning with us. Whether you're sipping coffee on the porch, out running errands, or out shopping for a home, we appreciate you. If something we said today sparked a question, or if you've got a great topic or guest idea for a future episode, we'd love to hear it. You can drop your suggestion in the Keepin' It Real suggestion box at the front desk of Long Realty, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Or just shoot me an email at sherry@sherryethelteam.com, or call or text me anytime at 717-599-2439. We love hearing from you. It helps us keep this show real, relevant, and rooted in our Cochise County community. We'll be back next Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. right here on 97.7 Canyon Country, your first choice for legendary country.
Until then, stay safe, stay kind, and as always, keep it real, Cochise County.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move. What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Keepin' It Real radio show. Join us next Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. for more engaging interviews with top realtors and industry leaders, keeping you informed about the latest trends in real estate. Stay connected with us as we bring you updates on the dynamic events shaping our vibrant community. From exciting local happenings to noteworthy charities and causes, we've got you covered. See you next week for another edition of Keepin' It Real.